Hey everybody, David, F&B Railroad. Glad to see you guys here again. And if you're new to the channel, this is the F&B Railroad. But everybody else who watches this already knows that. And what I've been doing is I've been expanding my layout. I've been showing you videos of how I've been doing things on the layout and building it from there. So in this episode, we'll show you what I got done this month. Although it wasn't very much because of the holidays and whatnot. It took some time away from doing the modeling and so forth and so on. But all in all, I think I got some good progress made. So let's get at it. Okay, here's the piece that I just made in the last 2 episodes of my YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, please take a look and you'll see how I built that. And you can see here I've painted some track and painted some ties, and I've also ballasted my bridges, and my bridge goes in right here to connect these 2 tracks to the rest of the spur line. I've also painted these front rails and weathered those ties, or not weathered, but painted those ties as well. And from there I've painted some rocks. You can see I've done some casting and cutting of rocks. I also worked on this piece inside the tunnel. And if I take this piece out here, take the tunnel porter out, you'll see this is the piece that I did for the inside wall. It's just a piece of foam core that I put Sculptamold on and then painted. And I place it inside so it looks like the inside of the tunnel is rock and is what we expect instead of seeing pink foam board. So now onto the rock. I've put some plaster on and I've carved it and painted it, and I've got rough rock and I've got smooth rock. And if you look back here in the canyon wall, you can see the smooth rock and then the rough rock. I've also painted it and weathered it, highlighted it. So I've been busy working on the canyon trying to make this look better as well. Here's another example of the smooth rock where I put the plaster in and I smoothed it out and cut some lines in it and painted it and weathered it. And this is my log loader. I built this little model and figured it would be going here on this little area to load the logging cars. It was a nice little model. I did do some modifications and I'll show you what I did to that later. From here, as I pull out, you'll see that I've done some leaf litter and some stumps. I also have some dirt down and dirt running up the hill to make a logging road. And then I've got this all painted. I still got to do a whole lot of landscaping here. I've also painted these ties and rails and ballasted them and put dirt in between them. And you can also see that I cut off my fascia to make it even with the landscape. And here's a couple of logging cars that I have built for the layout. Got the logs laying on them, and that's what's going to go in on these spurs. So here's the logging truck. It was actually a Bantam excavator truck from Railway Express Miniatures. And what I did with this miniature is, here it is here all together, and I cleaned it all up, cleaned off the flash, painted everybody, or glued everybody up, and then painted everybody. So this is a look as you go around the model, what it looks like. This is all brush painted, so yeah, it's got brush strokes in it and whatnot, but it's old, so I still have to weather it and make it look older yet. But yeah, this is what the model looks like. It's a very nice model, actually. Worked out well for me, although I did do some modifications to it. The first modification being I cut off the bucket and replaced it with this grapple. Seeing that it's a log loader, I needed a grapple to pick up the logs. Next thing I did is I got rid of the cables and made these hydraulic cylinders, one here, two back here, and then one underneath. This modernized it, made it more for my era that I'm modeling. I also put on this exhaust stack and this exhaust stack as well to modernize it and make it look more realistic. So this is the model, this is what it looked like, and it's going to sit over in my logging area to load logs. Another thing I did is I decided that I was going to take my hand at weathering, or do some light weathering on this CSX locomotive. So I picked this up at one of my hobby stores and I painted it to weather it up, and this is how it came out. I don't know if this is the way it should look, but this is how it all came out for me. I did some weathering, painted the paint, and then I did some dust or dirt on the tanks and the trucks and up by the cab and across the front. Did some rust on the couplers. Not a lot, just some light work. Come on, focus. Focus already. Well, I guess it's not going to focus for me, so let's turn it and see if we can get some focus here. And there we go, we got focus. So yeah, you can see the dirt work I did. I think it came out well. I mean, it's a light light weathering. It's not been around a long time, but it has gotten dirty. It's been being used. So I figured this is about the way it should look, and this is based off of some pictures I've seen and whatnot. So yeah, let's take a look at it some more. And you'll see on this side, you can see the light dirt on the tank and the trucks. Across the back, a little bit of rust on the couplers. The faded paint. So that's what I did, and this is the underside. I didn't really do much. I let the paint run under a little bit, but this is also DCC with sound. And I did a little India ink inside the fans there. I might go back and do a little silver on them just to give them some silver. So that's how that turned out. And this is what I used to fade the paint. Focus, people. There we go. So I used that and thinned it out and made a wash and washed over all the paint. This way I could fade the blue down, and it also faded the yellow a little bit as well. And then this is what I used for the dirt on the trucks and on the tank and the front and up onto the cab and whatnot. I just dry brushed that on. And then this is the paint I used for the rust on the coupler, and there's a spot on the cab and a couple other little spots that I did. I didn't want a lot of rust, just a little bit. And then last but not least is the India ink with rubbing alcohol mixed down to make a wash. I put that in on the panel lines and whatnot. And now this is a trunk for the pine trees that I'm going to put up on that section. So this has been a bamboo stick whittled down and then painted with a couple of different colors, or dry brushed with a couple of different colors. And as you can see, I have a whole bunch of them at different sizes. And from there, these are some deciduous trees that I am working on. I got the trunks all put together and I got the little branches all put in place. Now all I got to do is flock these as well. So that's what I've been doing. The other thing I did is I cleaned up my desk. It was a disaster. I had everything everywhere. So this is actually clean now. I've cleaned it up. And what I had to do was I built this little shelf back here to put a whole bunch of extra paints and stuff on top of. Moved my pictures up so I could see them because they were getting hidden by everything else. And that's what's been keeping me busy this month on the layout. And hopefully we'll move on to more and better things on the next layout. Maybe even finish or get close to finishing the logging area. So that's the end of the video. I hope everybody had a good holiday and you saw what I got done. I did a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know, did what I could with the time that I had. And I do appreciate everybody watching, subscribing. I love subscribers. I'm at 98 right now. I'd love to make 100. And then I'd also like a thumbs up and leave a comment, good or bad, doesn't matter. Just leave me a comment and share it with your friends. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really do appreciate everybody watching. And as I always say, keep on modeling.